Hello and welcome to the SCL Season 5 cast. I forget which week we're in. It's something like 6, I think. Oh, it must be 6 because we have Aquarium in the pool now. No pun intended. Today I have Toboshi
Hello, everybody.
and Warning Track joining me.
Hello, but that pun was totally intended. Come on.
And so our first matchup today is going to be live. So we'll be jumping into that at some point. So we're going to be going into a draft picking tool. But before that, I'm going to go through the matches we have. So the first match is a very hyped match because we've seen so many great finals. It'll be Pwndnoob versus FalconHit. Then we will have JD 105L. I don't know if we have a better pronunciation for that. Just going to call him JD versus T-Flame. And that's an Obsidian match, one of the few Obsidian matches we've cast so far. And then we're going to be closing out with a gold match of Wodar versus Turnout 8, a couple of real old hats. So first up, we got Pwndnoob versus FalconHit.
Yeah, and Tobo, there's a lot of history behind this match, isn't there?
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah, so these two, this is their 11th meeting in SCL. And if that sounds like a lot, it is. Most people have not played each other more than a few times for one reason or another. In the overall record, Noob is 4-3-3, so he's 4-3 with 3 ties against FalconHit, so they're basically dead even. But it's important to note that he hasn't actually lost to FalconHit in the last 4 matches. That's a couple wins and a couple draws, I believe, including a draw that counts as a win for the Gold Championship last season because he had the higher seed. But it's not just that the matches are close. The games are close because over those matches, the overall record is Noob 51 wins, FalconHit 53. And if that weren't enough, they even have similar game counts. Even though they're both over 8,000 games, they're just 65 games apart. So these two have been coming up in the ranks together for years now. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and this match not only is a match that comes live, but it's a match that comes with a new map involved as well.
Yeah, one that I really hope we're going to see because at week 6 and going forward, Aquarium is available for competitive play, and you better believe we're probably going to see it. Just say at least one match tonight.
All right, shall we hop into the draft?
Yeah, that's getting set up. While that's getting set up, I also want to point out that these two have risen together. They started in Copper together. They advanced, skipped to Bronze completely together. Then they went to Silver and to Gold, and now they're in Platinum. They are the first players to ever meet in 4 different divisions. In fact, Wodar is the only other player other than these two to even play in 4 divisions, let alone play the same person there. So they've been rising through the ranks together, and now both of them are on the edge of Diamond looking in. And they think they want to get in, but I say to both of them, turn back while you still can.
Yeah, one thing you can absolutely say about both of these guys is they never give you a dull match. They're always very entertaining to watch.
All right.
Especially against each other.
Well, I believe we have the draft is up. So I believe we have Pwndnoob bans Ballroom, FalconHit bans Gallery, and then Pwndnoob picks Aquarium. Great. FalconHit picks Tan, and then Pwndnoob picks Library, and FalconHit picks Modern. What do we think?
I think what we make of this is that they know they're being cast and they love to give us a good show. They see, first of all, that we've been casting gallery games, it feels like all year. And they know we love Aquarium and we love Tayen. I don't really care if it's good strategy, good game watching.
Absolutely. Not only do we get to have a gander at the new map in the rotation, the newest map in Spy Party, and a map that has a shark in it. We get 4 games of it,
Yep.
and then we get 4 games of the next newest map in Spy Party, Tayen.
Yep, and they are just about to start, I think, just about ready to go. The 11th match between these two. I don't know if you can say there's a more storied and dramatic rivalry in SEL history. Maybe even more storied and dramatic than KCM Kaylee.
All right, we're underway.
We are underway indeed. Pwndnoob opening up the festivities as wheels at the back left statues.
I think FalconHit had plenty of time to see that swap.
I think so. It's a green test, but it might not be enough. And the shark is not going to be covering from the center either.
Yeah, but that is not visible, though.
Oh,
He's going to
nice
try to rush
little
here.
bug behind the shark. The swap is there. The swap is visible. I think it's down to 2 now.
Yep, I think you're probably right, and that's significant because he got the bug done before it was narrowed down to 2, so now, if you get a good banana bread, who do you shoot? That is tough.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a terrifying situation, but it is absolutely winnable. A flirt and a contact is all we need, and if Pwndnoob was paying enough attention to know who the frame target is, and I'm sure he was paying enough attention, he will be able to make sure that this is a good contact. Here it comes off.
Yeah, but he's going to be alone as a real one. It's good timing, but there's no SDA in with Sorry.
That is a dangerous situation. 31% on the flirt doesn't help. Seduction target scoots a little bit closer, so if we can hit a green test here, that's going to be great, and Pwndnoob knows it. Still 2.5 minutes to play, but you want to get this done as soon as possible so you don't just die.
Yeah, I'm a little worried for FalconHit here because I will say I've played a bit of Aquarium already myself. I was in the Shark Weekend tournament and all that, and I've played it since a little, and it is way too easy to convince yourself that you mismemorize statues.
Green test on the second flirt up to 82%. That gives us a lot of wiggle room on the last flirt. Almost infinite wiggle room, but it is possible to screw this up still.
Honestly, the behavior here really indicates, the fact that he's not dead indicates that FalconHit either doesn't know there was a swap or is just not sure.
I think he must know there was a swap, right?
I'm telling you, I've looked so often, I will repeat all the statues to myself, and then it'll change, and I'll repeat them again, and I won't notice that I'm repeating something slightly different. It's really hard. The shark rushes in so quick, and there's so much going on.
Pwndnoob steps away to the bar. Sorry steps away as well, although it doesn't look like she's going to a mission site.
Honestly, so the alternative here is that he just really, really thinks it's Sorry and not Wheels, and he knows Sorry doesn't have a real BB, so he's waiting.
Well, there was nothing there for Pwndnoob. There wasn't a fingerprint available. He didn't take a purloin. He has a delegate, but I doubt he's going to use it.
Yeah, might as well take it just in case. Look a little innocuous, and you still got a full minute to get anything better than the worst flirt possible, and right next to them, that'll do it.
That'll do it no matter what test you get, unless it's red. Red tests will never do it.
Yep, let that action bar go by. You don't need a green here.
There it is. I don't think he's getting shot for the talk. I think this is Pwndnoob's game, getting that early bug behind the swap, behind the shark, sorry, in cover of the swap. That's enough to seal the deal, and Pwndnoob picks up game number 1.
Yeah, you really can convince yourself that you don't have the statues right. I've done it a bunch of times already. It's very hard to say. And sometimes you just figure watching for those statue swaps early on, it's just not the most efficient use of your time. It could also just be a mind game thing. I really think he's more likely to frame than swap. So they're sitting there waiting for Sorry to finish. She doesn't have a real BB, so she never does in the sniper's mind. But it's not the swap that won the game. It was the fact that the bug happened before the swap was visible.
Well, either way, Pwndnoob is able to pick up first game of the evening from the spy side, no less, although this is definitely a map where that can happen. Actually, I believe it's quite a balanced map.
Yeah, so far, obviously it's very early, and I think snipers might catch up a little bit, but spies could get better too. You really don't know. We're in uncharted waters here.
God damn it. All right, game number 2. FalconHit stepping into the spy side of things. Pwndnoob on the sniper, and it looks like FalconHit is looking to open things up by the book with a close green flirt for 51%.
Yeah, and the ST leaves almost immediately, and this creates interesting opportunities. If you can 2-flirt here, rushes on Aquarium can be so powerful.
As we've just seen.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, the rush then wait. He did 2 hardtails, and then he really stretched the game out after that.
Yeah.
But just straight rushes too, where you finish everything in about 90 seconds. You really you don't want to shoot there because you know everyone's so suspicious on Aquarium anyway. It's just so easy to sieve shot. It kind of makes you want to hold because you know that's going to be your tendency.
FalconHit with a relatively slow start here, finally stepping out of that conversation to pick up the contact, it looks like. Fair bit of activity going on outside of conversations, although now people are starting to file in, it looks like.
Yeah, and I'd say more important than usual to get a really good banana bread off on Aquarium.
And FalconHit did not like how that one was show God.
Yeah, no, he's got him. That was not the kind of way, that's not what an AI is going to do, right? There was room in that conversation. He just straight up missed it. And just like that, Noob is up 2-0.
That was not the way you want to open a match.
No, it wasn't. It's got to feel pretty bad, too. You didn't really put Noob to the test because the thing is, it's almost like Balcony in the sense that if you don't like rush a bug early or something, just by definition of playing on that map, you're going to give them a tough shot. Unless the party is unbelievably serene, holding your shot in Aquarium is always going to be tough because a lot of people could theoretically be done. The same is usually true on Balcony. So there is a real cost to getting caught for something like etiquette-like or pathing related or anything like that, missing a pad on Aquarium, because who knows what the AI is going to give you. It was never going to be an easy game for the sniper, and you just made it easy for them.
Absolutely. And that is certainly going to give Pwndnoob a little bit of a confidence boost moving into the rest of this match. Pwndnoob back on the spy side now, tucks himself into the back corner to add a little bit of time to the start of Aquarium.
And it's not...
Hangs out long enough to take a sip, and another time ad as well.
This is just what Noob does. I don't know if it makes sense in this context, because God, if anyone knows he does it, FalconHit's one of them. Kind of feel like there's a decent chance that's just going to sort of throw the game away and narrow things down a lot. It's actually not very hard to see you could time at. It's not like Library where you can whip over and you're not confident because someone could have left windows very quickly and gone into a CC, right? Everything's very compressed. In this case, it's all wide open, so you can see who was at windows, who was walking away. The only way you don't get burned on a time ad is if they just forget to look, which is possible with all the early activity. But if they're looking at all, they gotcha.
But especially with how Pwndnoob opened up his last game, those two quick hardtail missions has got to put FalconHit on edge, looking for those hardtails early in the game.
Yeah, that's the best argument for that move, I think. Whether it's good or bad, the best argument for it is you just made him really want to guard those hardtails really quick based on how you played the first game, so maybe the time ads are free the next game. I still say maybe one rather than two, but we'll see, you know. Obviously, Noob's up 2-0, so I don't think he needs any advice from me right now.
But as you were saying, this is a map where lots of AI are likely to finish missions. And that is doubly so with an extra minute and a half on the clock.
Yeah, if you're Noob here and you don't think you're a huge suspect, and I think there's a decent chance you're not, you're really just going to try to play it cool, get a really good banana bread, notice who's been going to statues, and force him to hold, and it's going to be so hard.
And it looks like Pwndnoob is doing exactly that, really just hanging out as long as he can, getting as much of a lay of the land as possible. I don't even know if he's looking to finish missions in this game or if he's just looking to find somebody to frame.
Okay, with Papa in, this is about as good a BB as you're going to get. You're only going to knock out 2 people.
Banana
3
bread.
now.
There it goes!
That's pretty darn good. I think maybe a mite quicker, but very close. It looked like Salmon maybe split. I don't know if he deserves a low light or not. It was very close, but the point is he only let off, 2. He only let off 2. That's really good.
That's huge. And there were a lot of people who started moving right after the contact as well, so that's got to put FalconHit on edge. This is an amazing game for Pwndnoob so far, considering that he basically hasn't done anything.
Yeah, even if you don't have anything like a photographic memory, there's still that mental snapshot when the BB goes off, and you can notice the movement after to determine where people were. If there's a lot of movement right after, it makes it that much harder, and in this case, there weren't that many more lowlights available, maybe 3 or 4 instead of 2, but that's it, so really good.
Oh, the bug behind the shark! The hair was visible for it!
Yeah, the entire head, I
That's the
think,
thing
yeah.
That could easily have been seen, but it doesn't look like it was.
No, and the way it looked from the sniper side, it actually looks like it might have just been a collision. You couldn't be positive it was a bug, even if you were looking, and there's a decent chance FalconHit wasn't looking.
I don't know, coming out of the conversation and stepping right back into it, that is not something you're going to let even an AI get away with in that situation.
And so the bug gives you options. Right now you're not committed to the frame because a lot of that extra time is already run off the clock. You're under 2 minutes.
Another contact and another 3 lowlights.
And 4 if he notices Irish with kind of confidence in a second. Smallman 2, can he get Irish? Now with the 2 of them, he's let off quite a bit because Noob has transitioned into trying to finish missions. And the party now is suddenly quite narrowed down.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about this. He had a great position before. If he could have gotten away without the contact, things would have been great. But the second contact, after that, you've got about half the party low lit at this point. He's got 78% on the flirt and 2 mission completions with 1 minute to go. That is doable, but it's a lot scarier than it was a little while ago.
He's going to have to take a risk, and I think the risk's going to be timer flirt, probably into direct purloin. If it lines up. If it doesn't line up, it's a delegate. And I don't know, I'm not sure it's going to line up. We got bottom shark here and 45 seconds left, so it's going to have to be something else. It's going to have to be a delegate.
Difficult situation for Pwndnoob. Time is running desperately short. The last flirt comes in. We have reached the beep beep, so there's no turning back now.
So what's interesting is you can predict when the shark is going to end, where they're going to be when the game ends, based on a normal length game of Aquarium. But when you time add, you throw that off. So now the game is going to end with the shark at the bottom rather than the top.
At the end of the game! 5
seconds,
even he's covering it. It's behind the head. He takes a shot on the wrong man, and Pwndnoob goes up 3 off the top of the match.
So on one hand, I'm impressed at the hold and the way he winnowed the party down from the banana breads, but the big mental error is one of your like 6 remaining suspects, maybe 7, is going to statues with under 20 seconds in the back. You have to at least glance and see if it changes, right? But yeah. He didn't even look. Just not a suspect at all. He was clearly just looking somewhere else. And I guess he's assuming fingerprints there with Walt. And that's perfectly reasonable. I have no issue with the shot. But the thing was, it came several seconds after the swap. There's just no reason there. The shark wasn't blocking it to just glance up. Has there been a swap? That's all. Just take 1 second, maybe. Because the time he was shot, there's no way that 10 seconds had passed with the briefcase fingerprint. If you think that's last mission, that's fine. You've got 10 more seconds to make your decision. Why wouldn't you use that to just glance at the statue?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I know easier said than done, but that's the whole point, right? If you were totally clear-headed, if you weren't in the stress of the match, if you could plan it out, what would you decide to do? You would use those 10 seconds, you would look at the statue, you would see it, and you would have your first win instead of being down 3-0.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to go back and see if Walt was at that statue earlier, because if he was, that could have changed things. But either way, it's 3-0 as FalconHit steps into the spy side of Aquarium to look for at least 1 game in the first map of the set. Opens things up at the bar, takes a delegate super early. And it looks like he's going for the double agent instead of the seduction target, which is interesting.
You can definitely catch people off guard with this sometimes. It's actually not too bad right now, especially if one more person gets in conversation. This is pretty good because there's 2 really full conversations. I kind of like that more than people sprinkled throughout.
Yeah. And now even more people are starting to enter in, but the double agent has stepped away. We could chase and take the contact, but no, FalconHit just wants the flirt instead. Never mind.
And he's playing this really cool right now. Now, normally, even if you were playing this type of game, you'd go get a couple flirts, right? Because it's so low cost if you're not too obvious about it. But
well,
so far,
he tried to get 1, but the seduction target bailed on him, and now he's at statues. So things are not going according to plan for FalconHit. Didn't manage to get the contact, didn't manage to get the flirt, didn't get anyone delegated for the purloin. 2.5 minutes, and we just finished our first piece of progress, which was statues.
Yeah, and you can see there's a lot of highlights for something other than statues there, but Noob will definitely be tracking that. This is almost, sometimes this feels like a 3-5 map. Sometimes you're just crediting the bug, or you don't know if you can catch the purloin, and sometimes, if you feel behind, that second statue visit alone can prompt a shot.
Another good opportunity for the contact, and it does get taken. 2, 3, 4 lowlights.
5 with Duke. Yep.
And assumed real, so 2 more on top of that. That is not nearly the contact FalconHit was looking for. He did get 51% on the flirt as well, but gets highlighted as he steps into his second statue visit for a fingerprint on top of the last inspect. That's a lot of progress, but a lot of suspicion as well.
Yeah, and it's just going to be a hard shot, though. An all soft tail version here. That would be really tough. 7 lowlights, obviously pretty darn good, and I like the assume real there because in this case, the only conversation you had to assume was assume real for were 2 people just sort of doing nothing there. So it's safer than usual. It's not like there's 4 or 5 people, and then, you hear what could be a fake and you have to make that decision. In this case, it's lower risk than usual.
Minute and 10 left to play. Stepping in for the second flirt. Should be in range for 49%, but if he can hit the green test. If not, he's going to be in a very difficult situation.
Well, you can go get that fingerprint at blue and then come back to finish the flirt, which he's going to have to do, it looks like. But you just really wish you had more time to let that fingerprint decay a little.
Did not hit the green test, as you were saying. Now stepping into the blue bookcase for that fingerprint. 45 seconds left to play.
Here's the big question. Does he know about the other fingerprint? There was a lot of chaos. The BB, I think, happened in between when the fingerprint was left and when it was taken. So it's possible he's only got him down for 1 right here. That's the big question. I like taking the book out here. That's nice. Make it look like there's 1 more mission to go.
Absolutely. It's a very good little move. Not getting shot for the talk. I think once that fingerprint came on, it's pretty clear that that was going to be the victory. Time runs out on the game, and FalconHit does wind up picking up a game in the first map.
I think there's a really good chance that first fingerprint was missed, but there's just a lot going on. I can't say it enough. I know I sound like a broken record, but there's just a lot going on. There's a lot to watch, and who would do a fingerprint like that when you can get free bugs if you just wait a little while?
Yeah, it's true.
It's almost counterintuitive to do fingerprint, to try to sneak around. It's kind of funny like that. Bug is almost the safer choice sometimes if you're patient about it. And so many people are going to be credited with it anyway. So just a really solid game from FalconHit. If I had to guess, I'd just say caught 1 fingerprint, not the other. And do you really want to shoot for that on Aquarium of all places?
No, apparently you do not, because FalconHit does manage to pick one up. It's 3-1 in Pwndnoob's favor as we step in to Taeyen coming up next.
Yeah, with that win, FalconHit at least avoids disaster. And with another unpredictable, new, slightly crazy venue coming up, he could absolutely equalize this.
Well, he's going to have to start things off on the sniper side, which is a difficult proposition on Taeyen, but this could be a really big game if FalconHit can make it happen. Pwndnoob on the spy, opening things up with a bug on the way into conversation. It wasn't pretty, but it took, and it's not dead.
Wasn't pretty, and the sniper wasn't zoomed. It did not look that visible from the sniper cam. It really didn't. I really think this might have been free.
A lot of bugs on this map are. That one was more dangerous than some, but it looked like it came off clean, as you were saying. That's 1 mission done, 45% on the flirt. A strong start from Pwndnoob.
Yeah, you're going to get better bug opportunities. Half the party's going to get a pretty good bug opportunity. Here's the difference. When you get it immediately, the value there potentially, since you might be credited with bug anyway, by some people at least, the value there is a quick finish, potentially. And no possible bugs maybe after you've gone to center statues, done the real banana bread, whatever it is. So the fact that they're going to have to 3-flirt actually reduces the value of that bug, in my opinion, quite a bit.
Agreed. Hits 2 greens as well, up to 91%. It would have been nice if we were able to get in there a little bit closer, but we just couldn't squeeze ourselves into the conversation where we needed to be for it. 2 minutes to play, and a good position for Pwndnoob.
Yeah, I don't know what I would take. I mean, there are so many good bug opportunities that even though it's a hard tell, I guess that's still slightly better. But if you gave me the 2-flirt as opposed to the rush bug free, I don't know what I would take on Taeyen. That's how crazy Taeyen can be.
Good position for a contact. Conversations are full. Contact comes off. Couple of lowlights, but not too much to speak of. Pwndnoob is in a very good situation, especially considering the seduction target walks in next to him, gives him a free mission completion. There's the green test on the purloin we've got pending with just under a minute and a half to play. Here's the take. The tray is behind the Soji, can't be seen, completely invisible. This is a beautiful spy game from Pwndnoob, and there's nothing FalconHit can do about that.
There was one little moment at the end where he zoomed in, and it was like a painting, a moment frozen in time. You could see the list was gone between two heads, and one of them was Pwndnoob's head. He was right there in the frame next to it, almost like he was grinning and winking. Yep, that was me. But there was only a few seconds left on the countdown when it happened, and he clearly was not expecting it because he wasn't honed in trying to look for it when it happened. So he basically, the first 5 or 6 seconds where he might have been able to catch it and take that shot quickly, those passed without incident. And Noob is just killing him with these immediate hardtails.
It was also a green test, though. So who do you shoot in that situation when you see it's gone?
Yeah, it's a tough shot, but at least at that point you narrow it down. And if you shoot hair, it's more understandable, right? As opposed to probably just being a little caught off guard. And caught off guard is exactly how you have to describe falling behind 4-1 to your longtime rival.
Absolutely. Pwndnoob has been playing extraordinarily so far. FalconHit has started to wake up. But he needs to keep it going and needs to find some way to come back into this. Starting on the spy side of Tayen. Pretty strong starting position here. A good position to get reverse drive-by bugs as well as this flirt for 50% on the green test.
Yeah, it's a really good start. And again, I say this almost every week. I'm going to keep saying it because it's still true. When you can two-flirt, it opens up so much.
Our conversation is very full and has a double agent in it, but the other conversation is not. There's still a few too many people outside for FalconHit to want to take this contact right now.
And 2 of them at statues. That's one of the big ones, too. Because as I mentioned, sometimes you're crediting bugs so much that it's almost like a 3-5 variant. It's like, who's got BB and inspects? Because I'm assuming bug and flirt.
That conversation fills up. Ours empties out. We've completely run out of cover at this point. Not able to hit the 2-flirt either. It's 84% after the white test on the second. 2 minutes and 10 seconds to play.
And I say that sometimes you credit bug, but sometimes you get games like this where the Amba just keeps himself out of harm's way for a really long time. They've gone to windows, they've gone to shelves 2 or 3 times already. That's a big deal because Noob actually, in a game like this, might be relatively confident that only a few people could have bugged if the Amba doesn't keep walking by those circles, and that's a big, big deal.
Lots of fingerprints around, though. That's the trade-off.
That is the trade-off. Exactly right. Exactly right. It's weirdly balanced in its own way, isn't it?
That being said, FalconHit playing this really slow, not taking any risks, but also not really getting any progress. Under a minute and 30 now, and not a single completion yet.
Yeah, but watch out. Smallman has a print off the case. Alice has a print off the shelf, and now the Amba's picking up a statue. This is the trade-off you were talking about.
There's the contact coming off. Couple of low lights. Smallman was in conversation, luckily enough. Minute and 5 to play, and we only have the 1 completion at this point.
Pwndnoob was very concerned about that Smallman drink tank. He jumped over to the right immediately to try to see if he could see the list, and luckily for him, he got a very clear look at it within the first few seconds so he could breathe a sigh of relief. But if it had been obscured for a while, he might have felt tempted to take that shot.
Green test purloin. The Amba takes!
Totally. Well, oh, the fade is actually kind of on screen. Are we going to get some lowlights? Wow, the laser darted over to the right. It had such a strong immediate reaction, but no light differences yet.
No lights. 30 seconds. Less than at this point. 2 mission completions. There's the bug coming along the back. We step into the back of this room to... I don't think we're going to go for a highlight. I think we just wanted to get that bug and find our seduction target. It's going to be overtime, but only a second or so worth.
That's going to work.
FalconHit gets the talk. I don't think Pwndnoob is going to be able to take this shot.
Yup, that's a crash bug, but it's mostly off screen. You're really just assuming that they crashed into them, so it's a bug. He did leave the windows very, very quickly, but in the waning seconds of Tien, is that the kind of thing you're going to watch for with the Amba bouncing around? FalconHit scores a huge win there, and this match is not quite over.
A dangerous end to the game, but with a very small man taking up a lot of his opponent's attention, and just generally very good execution across the board, FalconHit is able to keep himself within 2.
A lot of composure from FalconHit. We've seen some really strong spy games since falling behind 3-0, and if he can score a win here, it'll tighten that much more, but easier said than done on Tien.
Absolutely, but if he can find a win here, he could be spying on Tien to tie things up, and that would be gigantic. Pwndnoob opening the game at center statues.
And I say you get a lot of good bug opportunities on Tien, especially reverse drive-bys with this character. It is so...
Stepping into conversation with the seduction target.
What you lose in speed with this character, you gain in deftness, and you really don't need that much speed here because everything's so close together. So she's even more powerful.
Absolutely. The bugging animations on her in particular are so difficult to see. She's a very dexterous spy, if not a nimble one. 34% on the first flirt, stepping away. Weird little redirecting to the conversation, but because of that drink in hand, not able to get any sort of bug shenaniganry going.
Yeah, she's not an action movie spy. She's Bond, not Bourne, you know, if you had to pick, right? She's more like the classical 70s spy movies where it's all about subtlety rather than, you know, guns and running.
Guns and running.
That's pretty much what it is these days, isn't it? But no, we're talking like Ipcris File stuff here. No, she's very underappreciated in my opinion.
Second flirt, 66%. That is enough for a 3 flirt on a white test, but we are not in range for it.
Yeah, and wisely doesn't take that bug opportunity. It actually is not a very good one. That's not why you're in this conversation. There are better places to wait for that bug to come to you, and you've still got plenty of time to get it.
This particular spot is just far too exposed for something like that. Minute and 30 left to play. We've still just got the 1 completion at center statues at the beginning of the game, but as FalconHit saw us, you can get missions done pretty quickly.
Now, Pwndnoob wrote an article for Spy Party fans called On Aggressive Idling.
Yeah, we've got the cover as FalconHit slips away into the corner there. It was only for a split second and the ambassador stepped away. Pwndnoob not able to capitalize.
It's still a wise decision not to. And I mentioned, yeah, aggressive idling. The thing about this is, not only is he just making some progress out front, he's out front. He's exposed. So while he can't bug, he's also very visibly not moving. FalconHit is going to notice that. That has some value.
Interestingly enough, a fake contact comes off with the double agent outside of conversation. So if he's assuming real, it's got to be from the back one.
It's pretty
That was a
significant.
twitch. That was a shot for the bug in that too exposed position.
I'm impressed by the shot. There were 3 different bug opportunities there out front. The Amba just kept coming back, and Noob said no, Noob said no, Noob said no, and then, because there was under a minute left there at the end, he thought, okay, just 1. And that was all it took. FalconHit has pulled it to within 4-3.
I don't know why the twitch, though, because that made the bug so much more visible than it would otherwise have been. It took anyways. But it was in an exposed position like that, you want to rely on the arm, and the twitch is not a way to do that.
There's an instant white purloin, and I think just see now, how confident is he about any possible green? Obviously, he's got to gulp this now. If he takes more than 1 sip, it'll give the game away.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're wondering, why do that bug last game? Well, here's the thing. He insta-white swapped. He insta-bugged. It worked out. So what you're seeing is just a lot of impulsive aggression at the starts of these games, and now a little later in the game. When it works, you think, aha, brilliant. And then later you think, why? But the common thread is I'm keeping my foot on the gas, and so far they haven't been catching me. So doing the counterintuitive bug can work because it's so counterintuitive. Obviously not a great decision, but that's been the ethos all match.
FalconHit, very strong start to the game. That early purloin, that early seduce. Now stepping in the center statues. FalconHit not slowing down. Pedal to the metal right now.
No, and it's the same spy he won with last time, by the way.
He did get that highlight early on, but a couple of other people did as well.
The BB is going to be the test, but I don't know. I think he's got a pretty decent chance here. Very aggressive. How confident is Noob going to be about the purloin? That's the question.
There's a spot in the conversation. Should the double agent want to take it? It doesn't look like he does, but Pwndnoob doesn't feel like waiting around. The shot comes off.
He's just confident.
And he is able to retain his lead off what I assume was a much better look at that early purloin than we thought.
Yeah, I think so. I think he was ready for it this time. It really wasn't clear from the laser position. It's one of those situations where either he's not sure at all or he's really sure. I've said this before, too. You've probably heard me say this many times. If a sniper is almost positive, their lights won't do anything because they don't need lights to remind them of who they're staring at. And in this case, the fact that there was no reaction was itself the most significant thing. Basically shot him at the first plausible moment he could be done after that.
5-3 after 10.
Still plenty of time to come back here for FalconHit, but that's a bit of a blow. At the very least, though, what I really love, because this fits the narrative of these two players so well, they low-lit each other time after time again. I think it was 4 times in the Gold Finals last year because they have their own meta. They know each other so well. So how fitting is it that one of them would catch the other totally off guard at the start, but then the other would come roaring back because of counterplay, because of adjustment?
The bug! No! FalconHit's on it!
Look, if you want to look at Noob's notes for this match, if he's taking any, all you can imagine it says is, do a mission immediately at all costs.
Yes.
No matter, exception being a game where he time added twice instead. He has not opened a game with anything less than aggression that I can recall.
It has to be said, FalconHit, his only falter has been that first spy game. Other than that, he's been playing just as lights out as Pwndnoob has.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, the adjustment. I would expect nothing less than a shift in momentum, a counterplay, a change, a reaction to the early games. These two have been reacting and counter-reacting to each other for 4 years, and there is no end in sight.
Yeah, and that immediate shot for the early bug just illustrates that all too well. FalconHit on Library, now with the chance to tie things up. And that is a pretty nice looking bug to start it with.
That's going to be pretty tough. The crazy thing is, because it's Library, you're not out of the woods yet. If you're even suspected for it, you've got to do either 4 soft tells from here, or you've got to do another hard tell.
Absolutely. It's not an easy game, and it's hard to tell how much of that Pwndnoob was able to see.
Yeah, at most he could just suspect it, and how confident can you be? A lot of people are going to have possible bugs on Library. You got to look away sometimes.
I like that little move, stopping on the window just in case that's where the seduction target was heading.
Yeah, not bad. There's a little upside to it, and this green's going to help a lot because there's still about 3 minutes left, and we've got 2.5 missions done, just like that. And one of them's a hard tell.
Absolutely. 51% on the flirt. I think you want to make sure you get this done sooner rather than later, because if you wind up at a mission site near the end of the game and you've got some suspicion on you, that could make things very difficult moving forward. But if he can hammer out these missions quickly, that might be enough to get things done before Pwndnoob pulls the trigger.
It's not chase the ST to shelves. That's interesting. I think they wanted a timer flirt, and that kind of makes sense on a big venue with a slow character. You know, take the opportunity while the ST is there. But they made the choice for us and walked away. Just a little surprised they didn't chase to books.
Well, speaking of books, time to pick up a fingerprint at the blue bookcase. That is definitely going to be a start towards the soft tells. And now, Oh, not able to get into this conversation with the double agent, so we have to bail off to windows. Now that Smallman leaves, there's a bit of room where we might be able to sneak in.
Awkward but off screen, I think. And FalconHit probably thinking, I got away with that first fingerprint in that other game. Maybe I can get away with one here and avoid that second hardtail. Are they really going to shoot me for what I said earlier, the 4 softtails from here on out game? That's a tough shot.
Banana
It
bread.
is. There's the banana split.
Will it work?
Back
No.
in the blue bookcase. Pwndnoob is really swinging around trying to get as many lowlights as possible. I don't think he's going to try to transfer here, and no, he just puts it away. But gets shot anyways!
Wow. Did he break etiquette there? That seems crazy to me. He really hadn't seen that much, I don't think. I guess he's thinking I might have missed something and maybe he suspected the bug more. Or these two just know each other on a level that we as casters can't hope to. It's one of those two.
It's hard to say. It must have been an etiquette break, or as Paratroopa in the chat is saying, maybe a phantom transfer?
It happens with her a lot, yeah. Even watching it there, looking at the actual timeline at the bottom of the replay, seeing it wasn't a microfilm, I still did a double take, and I thought, is he really microfilming right now? That's so counterintuitive. But he wasn't. It's kind of, you get the same thing with Ponytail. Sometimes that head turn just looks a lot like a microfilm. If it is a phantom microfilm, that is really unfortunate for FalconHit because he was playing a really damn good game.
Absolutely. I think it's hard to know what happened there, but FalconHit, that really did look like that could have been his. But Pwndnoob is able to keep pace. It's 6-4, 2 match points, and they're coming on Modern.
Yeah, that's just such a tough break for FalconHit. These last 2 games have felt so close. He was making such steady progress as Spy. This last one in particular, I feel like, was really strong. But now Noob is spying Smalling for the win.
Opening things up. Just takes the purloin immediately. He just takes
Banana
it.
bread.
That was not a delegate. He just took the purloin. Fake contact, try to distract, make sure FalconHit doesn't see it. Pwndnoob is still just doing whatever mission he's close to at the start of the game, and it's working.
It's working. It's worked way more often than not now, but FalconHit has caught the last couple of attempts, mind you. So this one's pretty big. He either saw him there at bar and he's got him, or he didn't. And even if he didn't, the risk reward here is a little out of whack, because even if you concede Purloin on Modern, you can catch the Spy sometimes.
That's true.
If you completely just say 4 out of 7, Purloin's already happened, you still got to get a lot done.
Purloin has come off quite likely clean early in the game. It's not the right shot to take.
No, and it's not the right time to shoot either. I don't care how confident you are. Unless it's like one of those rush bugs and you're like, I just saw it. I saw it. I'm sure I saw it. Let's fire. In this case, it's Modern. There are so many more missions to go. You have to wait. There's no reason to shoot there, I don't think. See, here's the thing. You shoot if you're 100%. Maybe 99.99%. I can understand that. No one's ever 100% they saw anything, I don't think. But a Purloin is not like that. It's not like a big, obvious arm wave bug either.
Oh no, what a way to end the match. Pwndnoob makes it happen 7-4.
And yeah, Pwndnoob is romping in Platinum. Look out Diamond, or look out Pwndnoob, because Diamond's waiting for you. Either way, maybe both. But Pwndnoob is now up to 5-3-3 against FalconHit. And he now hasn't lost to him, either won or drawn, in the last 5 matches between the two. So he's been getting the better end of this for a couple of seasons now.
Wow.
Wow, indeed.
What a match.
Yeah, just total aggression from Pwndnoob. I'm not surprised, and I'm not surprised it worked. I'm a little surprised he kept doing it, and I'm also a little surprised that it kept working that late.
Yeah.
There was a brief period there where FalconHit sort of was onto him. He caught up, and they were going the same speed, and he was starting to ding him for it. But at the end, Pwndnoob just keeps, like I said earlier, he's got his foot on the gas. He never took it off. And I think FalconHit maybe at one point thought, surely he's done with this now. But he wasn't. He wasn't. And at the end, FalconHit takes a shot that is just a little ill-advised on Modern, and that's the difference, even though he had a tough Spy win ahead of him anyway.
And now that is in the books, we're going to be moving on